They tell us they want to save the planet. But what if they want to save the planet from us? The shocking truth is, it's all based on religion, a religion they won't declare they follow strictly. They present the Great Reset as a benevolent political proposal, a visionary solution to the world's problems, broadcast from their stages in Davos. But behind the corporate language of sustainability and equity hides the creed of what is, perhaps, the world's most dangerous cult, a cult that worships the earth itself. If you've ever felt that something is deeply wrong with the direction the world is heading, subscribe to Echoes from the Past. What you are about to hear is the reason why. Every faith needs a gospel, a story of sin and salvation. And the new cult of the global elite has a very powerful one. The public sermon is broadcast daily from the highest stages of the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and the world's most powerful governments. It is the gospel of sustainability. Its story is simple and terrifying. Humanity, through its greed and consumption, has committed a great sin. We have poisoned the planet with carbon, triggering an apocalyptic climate crisis that threatens all life. But there is hope for salvation. We can be redeemed, but only if we repent. We must put our faith in their new holy trinity: sustainability, equity, and stakeholder capitalism. We must follow their commandments, laid out in sacred texts like Agenda 2030, to create a new, green paradise on Earth. But listen closely to their language. It is the language of a cult, a faith where the Earth, which they call Gaia, is the one true goddess. And in this faith, humanity is not God's chosen creation, but the original sin, a virus, a plague infecting the sacred body of their deity. And the global elite have appointed themselves a high priest, the only ones with the wisdom to administer the painful but necessary atonement. This is their Trojan horse, the beautiful, noble, and universally appealing idea of saving nature. Who would argue against clean air and green forests? It is the perfect vessel, adorned with flowers and promises of a better future. And the citizens of the world, filled with good intentions and climate anxiety, are willingly pulling this magnificent horse through the gates of their nations, unaware of the death and destruction hidden within its hollow belly. Every religion needs a priesthood, a class of elites who interpret the will of the divine and guide the masses. In the new cult of Gaia, this role is not played by men in robes, but by men in bespoke suits. Their temples are not cathedrals of stone, but conference halls in the mountain sanctuaries of Davos, and the secluded estates where the Bilderberg Group holds its secret annual sermon. These are the high priests, the World Economic Forum, the Club of Rome, the Council on Foreign Relations. They present themselves as pragmatic think tanks, as gatherings of the world's brightest minds to solve the world problems. But we must see them for what they are, the clergy of a new faith, dictating dogma to their followers in government, media, and corporate boardrooms. And every faith needs its sacred texts. The scriptures of the Gaia cult are not written on ancient scrolls, but published as policy papers and academic reports. Their version of the Book of Genesis was a 1972 report from the Club of Rome titled The Limits to Growth. It was a foundational text that, for the first time, explicitly identified human population growth as the original sin, the prime enemy of the planet. Another text, the Brundtland Commission's Our Common Future, canonized the term sustainable development, giving birth to the very language of their global crusade. This eco-faith provides a perfect moral justification for an agenda of absolute control. It allows the priests of Gaia to reframe their political ambitions as righteous necessities. A global digital ID is not a tool of surveillance, but a way to monitor your carbon footprint. A central bank digital currency is not about abolishing your financial freedom, but about preventing unsustainable purchases. Restrictions on travel, on consumption, on the very food you eat. These are not authoritarian power grabs. They are holy sacraments, necessary sacrifices to save Mother Earth from the sins of mankind. A ritual requires sacrifice, and to reset the world, the old world must first be destroyed. Look around you. The series of relentless global crises we have endured are not unfortunate accidents. They are the controlled demolition of our way of life. They are the first stage of the global sacrifice. The pandemic that shattered our supply chains and normalized lockdowns. The mysterious fires that have wiped out dozens of food processing plants. The engineered energy shortages that threaten to freeze us in the dark. The deliberate war on farmers, from the Netherlands to Canada, in the name of nitrogen emissions. Each crisis is a hammer blow, weakening the foundations of our society, making us poorer, more dependent, and more afraid. They are not random events. They are the necessary chaos required to bring about the new order. From this chaos comes the great renunciation. The World Economic Forum's now infamous prophecy, "You will own nothing and you will be happy," is not a prediction. It is a command. It is the core tenet of their faith, demanding that the masses renounce their private property, their sovereignty, and their autonomy as a great offering to Gaia. Your sinful carbon footprint must be reduced to zero. They are demanding you sacrifice your standard of living on the altar of their new green god. But the final offering, the ultimate sacrifice they require, is far more terrifying. We must look back to the cold granite of the Georgia Guidestones and its first, chilling commandment. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. For decades, this was dismissed as a fantasy of a fringe lunatic. Now, it is the unspoken policy of the global elite. The engineered crises are the beginning of a soft cull, a global human sacrifice designed to purify the earth for its true chosen people, themselves. They are not just sacrificing your wealth or your freedom. They are sacrificing you. This is not just a plan. It's a crusade. And we must call it by its true name, the Green Crusade. The medieval crusades were holy wars, fought by fanatics to reclaim a sacred land from those they deemed infidels. This new crusade is no different. It is a holy war fought to reclaim their sacred planet from the infidel masses. A war where our very existence, our breath, our consumption, our children, is framed as an act of blasphemy against their goddess, Gaia. The language is the same. The medieval church promised paradise in the next life to those who fought and died for their cause. The new green priesthood promises a climate paradise on earth, a utopia for the generations of the future. But only if we sacrifice our prosperity and our freedom in the present. It is the same promise of pain now for salvation later that has been used to justify holy wars for centuries. And what is the promised land they seek to build from the ashes of our world? It is a high-tech neo-feudal paradise, a clean, quiet, and rigidly controlled world, a small, elite population living in pristine smart cities, their every move tracked and their lives fully managed by artificial intelligence, all in the name of efficiency and harmony with nature. A world free from pollution, free from consumption, free from traffic, and free from the chaotic, unpredictable, and ultimately disposable masses. So we are left with a final, terrifying question. Are we witnessing visionary leaders making hard choices to save a dying planet? Or are we the unwitting casualties in the final, bloody crusade of the world's deadliest new cult? A cult that has simply swapped the cross for a green leaf and demands a sacrifice of global proportions to sanctify its new Eden? The future is not yet written, but the battle for that future is happening now, in the shadows. It is a war of ideologies, a war of faith. And whether you call it a Great Reset or a Green Crusade, the goal is the same, a new world built upon the ashes of our own. The first step to resisting is to understand the nature of the war being waged against you, to see the Trojan horse for what it truly is. For more investigations that dare to speak the unspeakable, subscribe to Echoes from the Past and share this video with those who are not afraid to look inside.